Donald Trump has been referring to Harris on social media as Kamabla, I guess is how you pronounce it. It's 5 posts on Monday. Do you know where that came from and what that nickname means?
I can't comment on that, but I do know that when voters are making a decision, they're going to end up voting in many ways their pocketbook.
That's not what you were asked about, Doug Burgum. You were asked about Kamabla. How come you don't want to talk about Kamabla? You were going to be that guy's VP, and he can't go 5 minutes without talking about Kamabla. So why are you changing the subject? But I love what Doug Burgum does there, because he's asked to respond to a bizarre thing that Trump is doing. And he goes with, well, at the end of the day, what people really want to hear about is blankety blank. And I love that, because we had the same thing a couple days ago with Byron Donalds, where he was asked about and suddenly Kamala became black. And he's like, well, you know what? That's not what people want to focus on. How many times can you do that about what your dude is saying before it becomes clear that he's not talking about what people want to talk about? Because that is what he's talking about. It doesn't seem like that's what regular people are concerned with, and yet he puts all of his attention into it.
A storm is tearing up the digital media industry. Only our audience can save us in these difficult times. Help us reach our goal of 100,000 new members at tyt.com/team.
And because he is doing it so much, and since Caitlin Collins asked Doug Burgum that question, he's filled Truth Social with even more bleats. We'll show you a little mashup of all of the Kamablas. That it's just over and over and over again. I don't think he's putting Kamabla into bleats. I think he's writing bleats so he can say Kamabla at this point. And we're gonna figure out what it's all about. Now, I will say this is not the only attempted nickname he's had for her recently. He mispronounces her name, we know that, but also he tried to get Kamala Crash going yesterday. And I think they thought that was going to take off. They even decided to put it in one of the rallies that JD Vance did, but you can see how that went in this screenshot. It just ends up looking like he's doing a booster rally for Kamala Harris. Like, what an idiot. Have people duck down, you moron. They don't know how to run a campaign. But anyway, nicknames are like a very characteristic thing of Trump. He loves giving people nicknames. They tend to be very cruel. I want to give you what Thomas Gift, a political scientist, has to say about the nicknames. He says Trump's demeaning language is something that many voters purport not to like, yet it's hard to say they don't pack a punch. At the same time, Kamabla and Kamala Crash don't quite have the same ring to them. Trump's difficulty in smearing Kamala Harris with a nickname is a lot like his campaign at the moment. It's throwing things at the wall, but nothing seems to be sticking. And I agree. Look, I think partly she's a more difficult person to attack. He can't attack her without revealing the deep level of hatred that he has for people of color and women. But also, I think his brain isn't where it was at 4 years ago. And his level of energy isn't where it's at. He's more doddering, he's lower energy, lower testosterone than he used to be. Maybe he could have come up with a great cutting nickname for her before, but he just doesn't have it. And so for now, we have Kamabla. What do you think of it?
It's stupid, and you're right. He's not the same guy he was in his apprentice days or in 2016. Low energy, Jeb, Bush, whatever it is, little Marco. It's just, he, as evil as he is, he did have a knack for boiling things down to something, even if it wasn't true, and making it stick. Now, not so much, but I think she's the real problem of why he can't settle on something, because she is the height of unbothered, as unfortunately many women in politics have to be. She's not just pretending to smile through it. She thinks he's a nincompoop, and she's not reacting to it, okay? That's about the second time I've used that in 2 weeks, but the times call for it. That's how she sees him, as if he's, her 6-year-old nephew who's come over and he has a smart mouth, and she knows he's going home soon. So she's not gonna bother with this. She's bless your heart and move on, okay? This is what we're having for dinner.
Yeah, I do pick up a little bit of that. And by the way, to the content of it, there's a couple different ways you can go with Kamabla. Some people are saying he just wants blah, like she's boring.
Blah, blah.
But that doesn't make sense as an insult. The reason you're freaking out is because she's wildly popular right now. So what are you talking about? She's boring. People objectively are not bored. I know that you like to will things into existence, but that's just not what's going on. Other people think that the blah is supposed to be for black. He's just trying to reference that or something. And I know that seems silly. It makes him look like a nincompoop, but I will remind everyone via this tweet by Jay Nordlinger, during the primaries, he called Nikki Haley Nimbra. Her name was her given name was Nimarata. He called her Nimbra. Now it's Kamabla. Like, I'm not saying it has to be for black, but I think there's very clearly a racist element to it. It's a thing of your names don't mean anything. They're silly and who could remember them? They're just ridiculous names. So we get to make fun of them because you're the other and we're gonna make you feel bad. That's what it's about. It's a through line of the campaign. You can see it when his like official spokesperson tweets things like, under the Kamala Wall's ticket, Ilhan Omar will be considered for a cabinet position like Secretary of State or Secretary of Defense. That's obviously not based on any reporting, and there's no way that that's gonna happen. But wouldn't it be scary if the black woman were in charge of the military? No. Sorry, I was cosplaying a regular right winger there. That's the feel of their campaign. And okay, if you think that's gonna win things for you, feel free. Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.